Just because an experience has ended doesn't mean that it's over. What I mean by that is that typically we tend to store these unfinished and unresolved emotional experiences within our bodies. And as a result of that, we take on and continue to engage in coping mechanisms and strategies like that of perfectionism to continue to repress and suppress these unfinished and unresolved emotions. Your subconscious mind and your body is emotional. It holds on to that which it thinks is not completed. And so in order to bloom beyond perfectionism, what is so necessary is working with your subconscious mind to be able to actually kind of close the doors, close the chapters, close the seasons, close up the emotional experience by basically working with the principles of your subconscious mind and how it works. You see, your subconscious mind does not differentiate. It cannot differentiate between real and imagined. A real experience of closing an emotional experience and an imagined experience of closing this emotional experience. All right, so you can actually use certain language and speak to your subconscious mind in a certain way to actually close the emotional loop. This is exactly what is necessary for you to bloom beyond perfectionism. And that is exactly what I obviously help you with and kind of work through within the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program and the Bloom Beyond Mastermind, for instance. But I wanted to give you an experience today and kind of give you a little bit of a teaser of what that could look like, what that could feel like, so that you can begin to see how this actually works. Because again, if you don't close the loop, perfectionism as in this compulsive need for control, procrastination, attachment, expectation, a lack of boundaries, pushing, proving, and pleasing, it will continue to manifest until the emotional loop is closed. So look at it like this. When you had that experience where you felt out of control in the past, and you might remember it, you might not, you got scared and you basically got put into this state of fear. And as a result of that, you kind of stunted time and stunted growth. And often what you don't realize is that the experiences that hurt you most aren't usually the ones that we are indifferent about. There is something within them that we deeply wanted or still desire. And so let's say you weren't broken by a breakup, you were broken by wanting love that wasn't right for you or that wasn't aligned for you anymore. Yeah? So you weren't devastated by a loss. You were devastated because you wanted so badly for that person or thing to remain in your life because you're wired for connection, aren't you? You kind of mentally then become trapped in these places from which you still crave an experience, crave that closed loop, so to speak. And so what you don't realize is that you have to sort of free yourself from it so that you can go forth and create and contribute and love wholeheartedly in real time. Instead of accepting the ways that you think that life did not work out, you get to be able to see what was at the core of your desire and figure out a way to still give yourself that experience now. And that can be done through your imagination. So if you truly want to let go of a past experience, a past person, a past situation, you got to work with your subconscious mind and re-enter it through your memory. Through your memory, you can get in touch with your subconscious mind and your bodily intelligence. So what I invite you to do right now, And this comes very naturally. You want to just close your eyes and find the feeling in your body that is uncomfortable about this experience. And you'll remember a time, a place, or experience. And sometimes this memory is fresh enough that you don't need to do this. And you can simply re enter the memory by imagining that you are back where it all began. And now, what you get to do is to superimpose a narrative to your younger self. So you get to imagine that your kind of healed and wiser self, is imparting some wisdom onto that version of you, okay? So you want to go all the way back in time to that time where you felt out of control, where you felt as if though things were not going the way that you wanted them to or desired them to, and imagine sitting next to your younger self, sitting next to them as they got their heart broken, or, giving them very specific instructions about why this is absolutely for the best. So you want to just basically give them the kind of wisdom that you would have wanted them to know. And although that they cannot, know it yet, there is another relationship out there that is far, far, far better. For instance, if this is about a relationship, it could be something totally different than that. But you get the idea. So imagine sitting next to your younger self when they felt really down and just giving them this exact instruction regarding what they need to do to feel better, who they need to call, where they need to go, what they need to begin doing, and what they need to stop doing. And most importantly, you want to imagine telling your younger self that absolutely everything, and yes, I mean everything, is going to be okay, that it is okay. So you get to do this to release the old attachment and allow that part of yourself to reattach to the present moment and what exists within it, because time is non-linear and it is actually an illusion. We just exist in a certain timeline, and different timelines are parallel to this one. So when you're doing this, you're actually there, so to speak. Your subconscious mind cannot differentiate between real and imagined, and the subconscious only works with the now, in the now. It cannot differentiate either by thinking about the past and the future. It only lives in the now. So this is why this works. Though you cannot change, right, what happened in the past, by shifting your perspective of it, you can actually change how you feel about it and how you are right now. And you can also change the story. And when you change your story, you change your life. Changing your story is not about changing the events, it's about changing the meaning that you are imposing on those events. So you can then stop holding on to this old life or this old way of looking at things in which you were required to be someone you inherently are not, or hold on to this coping mechanism of perfectionism keeping you in the same loop of pushing, proving, and pleasing, of not setting boundaries maybe, or hustling for your worth, or something like that, right? Or procrastinating, or having excessively high standards or expectations. Being able to just close this loop is something that enables you to go beyond those tendencies. So you can then stop holding on to this old life. And the truth is that when you are unhealthily attached to something in the past, your perspective of it is also actually distorted. Oftentimes you make it worse, or your mind makes it worse than what it actually was, because it seeks to protect you. That is why. That is your emotional survival brain, right? So you aren't seeing reality for what it is then. And so this is an opportunity for you to assist you in being able to broaden your mindset and open up to the truth. So instead of longing for what you didn't get, then you get to release yourself from the past and start putting your energy into sowing new seeds of what you'd like to experience right now. So when you're doing this, you become free to step into the field of infinite potential, which is always and will always and have always been accessible to us. It's just a matter of opening up to it. And then you become free to act like the version of you that is worthy of this beautiful, bright, brave, and balanced timeline and reality in which you're creating beyond perfectionism. Because you see, time is now, and the place is here where you get to bloom beyond perfectionism. So this was just a little bit of an introduction into how we are closing loops with the subconscious through the greatest power that you have, which is your imagination, which is the creative mind, which is the mind that goes beyond time, okay? That actually works in a way that it closes up emotional loops and makes you see things and feel things differently through the imagination. So it's a myth that you have to re-enter or go back to physically the past to get some sort of closure. You can actually do this through your imagination. It is something that saves time. It is also something that actually is way more powerful because you get to actually impose whatever meaning that you'd like. This and more is what is covered, in the paid programs that we offer, Bloom Beyond Perfectionism and Bloom Beyond Mastermind. And I would love to hear your current situation and your desired situation as far as, perfectionism is concerned. If you find yourself seeing this loop or knowing that there is this loop you're in without knowing how to actually break out of that habitual loop of being in certain relationships or, having certain experiences or being in certain situations or having a certain relationship with yourself even, then if you can see that pattern, that is wonderful. That is the first step. And when you have that awareness, now is your choice to actually overcome that. And you want to work with someone like myself, for instance, that knows how to work with your subconscious mind, because very few actually know how to, and using certain techniques and tools to do so. So you can go to bloombeyond.com/apply to apply to join our free tribe, Bloom Beyond Tribe, which you'll be able to then be part of for a free month to basically kind of give me a better understanding of your current situation and your desired situation so that we can close that gap together and see if we're a great fit for working together for a year or so and beyond. Because I believe in depth, I believe in working with your subconscious mind, which we want to basically really take advantage of repetition so that repetition can really begin creating new neural networks in your mind, right? So the first step is really Bloom Beyond Tribe, and then we can see from there, right? Looking forward to maybe receive your application and read through it, and then I might invite you to join the Bloom Beyond Tribe as well. Now, stay bright, brave, and balanced.